Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. My babies are back. Slightly worse for wear, I must admit. Because we had a seaside cottage theme, they dressed everything with Cornish grit. They had sand and starfish and sort of buoys and lobster pots. It was quite effective. Have a look at the video. I mean, it all worked quite well, but the Cornish grit they used wasn't washed. So it was full of dust, and they dressed the tops of the pots. My Miltonia sunset I had to repot. I literally had to take the plant out of the pot and wash it off. Yeah, so not that pleased about that. Luckily there were only 4 pots involved. And the Cornish grit that I haven't managed to get out can stay in there. It's an inert thing. It's not going to do any harm, but the dust will. It'll clog up the roots and everything. So I've literally had to run them under the tap and give them a good flush through. Well, the good side is that's those watered. The hanging ones, obviously, my Vandas are dehydrated because all they can do once a Vanda's in the display is spray the roots. And that isn't enough, especially in the sort of heat we had in the marquee. So they need a good hydration today, a nice long soak, just literally suck up the water and get them sorted out. I've got the chair out and I've got the shelves in. I decided to go for effectively 3 tall shelves. And by missing this bar out, which would support the shelf, and make it a stronger structure, yes, but by missing that bar out, I can get the plants in and out without too much hassle, shall we say. Without the chair, it's allowed me to move this table along and move that table back. So I've now got more room to walk in and out. And as I go round watering today, I'll think about where that fogger's going to go, because I don't really want it there. You can see this bar's in the way, yeah? And on shelves that big, if I take that bar out, it's going to make the structure quite weak. And trying to get the bar out when it's already been built, the idea is to leave it out when you build it, not try and get it out afterwards. So I'm still not sure where that fogger's going to go. But as I go around watering, I can make decisions on what plants can come over here. Some I already have decided. And that'll leave space to spread other things out. That was all the idea was to just rearrange things and get more space between the plants, because the flipping things just keep growing, you know. You have to allow for that. It's all very well saying, right, those plants all fit on that shelf nicely. Well, in a year's time they won't, will they? Because they grow, they get bigger, bushier, all that sort of stuff. And they need, quite honestly, they need the airspace around them. Literally just for air circulation, and in this heat having the air circulating better keeps them cooler. Now yesterday I did something I think I've only ever done once or twice before. I got a sprayer full of cool water and I absolutely soaked all the plants to cool them down and stop them dehydrating so fast. With the heat I had in here and the fans going, you know, I mean, they dried off in a couple of hours, so it can't do any harm. Yeah, the Phalaenopsis got it as well, water in the crowns, don't care. They dry so fast, it's not going to do any harm, not in this heat. Now, with me here yesterday, and all 4 foggers going, and the fans on flat out, I managed to keep it below 31, it crept above 30, but I managed to keep between 60 and 70% humidity at that temperature. Now that's a lot of moisture in the air. So although we're having a mini heat wave, I think plants are going to be fine. Most of them are loving it. They're probably going to grow like mad in this week, because we got this weather till the weekend. Harvey Annams opened another spike. Yeah, that was one of the larger spikes that it had going, and it's probably in the imagination, but I imagine it's already doing better on a mount than it was in a pot. I doubt if anything's changed, only did it a week or so ago. But anyway, I like it hanging, I like that. The same as this Friedrichianum. I need to get that up in the air now because I'm looking down on the blooms and the view is from underneath, so I'll get that raised up somehow. So some shuffling around today, and I'll do another clip added onto the end of this one, just to sort of show what I've moved around and everything. and yeah, we'll see how we go from there. And if I spot any like new spikes or anything as I go round, I'll add them in as well. Okay. Well, I found one new use for my new shelf. It's in bright light, but filming bright light, I mean, as opposed to stuff, you know, not in the sun or anything silly like that. But it does allow me to get the tripod near the edge of the shelf and set up some close-ups quickly. I often don't bother just because of the fuss, but this Restrepia hasn't actually bloomed for some time. It decided to take a bit of a break because it got repotted. Roots got disturbed, whatever. But that's the first time this one's come out for some time. That's Restrepia Falkenbergii. And by getting in closer like that with the tripod, hopefully that patterning and the colours is going to come out. Because normally when I'm hand holding, they blur. So although you can sort of get the general idea, you don't really see the colours properly. I mean, that is a deep gold yellow with a deep red striping. Gorgeous coloured bloom. Small but perfectly formed. I think while I'm at it, I might do one of the other Restrepias as it's all set up. Okay, this is the other one that's actually got some blooms on at the moment. This is the one from the Eric Young Foundation, pronounced Ulyss, I'm reliably told. But again, I've tried filming that handheld, and the stripes blur, and the spotting around the top of the sort of lip area, or actually I'm not sure that is called the lip. But I'm not quite sure how these work. I did find out once. What I think you've got in the structure is the top bit here. Oh, that's going to blur it. Touch the plant. Oh no. I'm using there's a bit of software on the camera I've never used before. If you touch the screen at the point you want to stay focused, it tracks it. So if I move the camera now, it will stay focused on that bloom because I touched the screen at that point. It tracks it. It's brilliant for moving things like, you know, sort of mountain bike jumping and all that sort of stuff, because it just tracks the subject. But I've never used it before. Anyway, this top bit, I believe, is a sepal, and the large pattern bit is the other two sepals fused together. The lip is the tiny little bit in the centre hanging down, and the two petals that form, because effectively the lip is an adapted petal, these are the other two petals, these tiny little antennae. So you've got a sepal at the top and two fused sepals at the bottom, and then two antenna-like petals and the adapted petal called the lip, which is absolutely minute in the centre of the plant. So they really are an unusual structure. But as I said, if I don't get the tripod out, I can't get in close enough to see the patterning on these. I can't focus that close handheld. So I'm going to have a quick look round and see if I've got any other tiny blooms that warrant getting in close to while I've got this set up. It's like a new toy. Anyway, that's the two Restrepias done. It's another one I can't normally get in close enough on. That's Sophronitis cernua, although it's probably Cattleya cernua now. Most of the Sophronites were moved across. But yeah, by getting in close like that, you can see the gradation on the colours of the petals and sepals. The fact that they've got almost a yellowy type centre, fading through orange and getting towards a deeper orangey red as you get to the outside. And I can't get that level of detail with the video camera unless I actually use the tripod. So yeah, it works. As I say, most of the smaller blooms just get bypassed literally because I can't normally take the time out. But this is so easy at the moment because I've got a shelf, can prop things up, I've got good diffused light in that area, and the camera's sat on the tripod. When I've finished, I can just pick it up, take it outside, bring it back in when I'm ready to do another one. Easy. So we'll get the close-ups done as part of this one. This is my new epidendrum. I mean, it's just an unnamed hybrid, but it's obviously based on radicans, the species. That's definitely the primary sort of thing in there. These are often nicknamed the crucifix orchid as one of their nicknames, and not so clear on the flower at the front, but if you look at the ones behind you can perhaps get an impression as to where it gets its name from, although to me it looks more like a bird taking off, something like that, with wings sticking out to the sides, heading onwards and upwards, that sort of thing. But again, without getting in close, you can't see the changing colours as you head away from the centre of the plant towards the edge of the plant. So definitely warranted a close-up, that one, while I've still got the blooms, because I don't know how long they're going to last. It was in bloom when I got it. It may have been in bloom some time, so they may not last too long. So always worth grabbing them while you can. And that reminds me too, I need to get the DSLR out and take a picture of that while it's out for my records. And those are the things I use for pop-ups, the DSLR stills. So let's get that one done. Okay, that's all I've got for today. Let's put up with the fans because I'm certainly not turning them off in this heat. I've had a play around. Main change here is all the Masdevallias now have gone up on that shelf to take advantage of being in the line of fire of that little computer fan. Yeah, so they're under a constant breeze now, and the Paphiopedilums that were up there have just gone down there. They'll be fine there, and Restrepias and stuff. My little Desa's in with those on the grounds. It doesn't need highlight. It can take highlight, but it doesn't need it, so that's got to stay there for now. I've shuffled stuff around on here. All the Coelogenes are now at ground level because it's cooler down there. They don't need highlight, but in the morning they get quite highlight because the sun comes in through this end. There's a couple of little Oncidiums there. I've got some places for some lower light plants. I haven't got many of them. So that's a half empty shelf. The Bulbophyllums are now there, in behind this lot, I mean, yeah. That spike's coming on, and the other one's pushing on, down in there somewhere. What else have I done? Some of the Noblies are now on that shelf up the back, mainly because I need shading for some of the other stuff, and they're taller. So they'll block some of the light out for some of the lower light plants. So that's just shuffling around. I have to have my holy pots accessible because in this weather that's daily, like the mounted orchids, so I can't have them all over the place. I need them together, so they're either there or there. I put that new epidendrum up there. They like highlight, so that's gone up. We still have new shelves of basically odds and ends here, including some of the smaller Phalaenopsis. So there's all sorts there. I've brought my Zygos off of the floor onto that shelf. There's a couple of other things there, and then some more Phalaenopsis down below. These are either in flower or have got spikes coming, so and they're also very tall or whatever. So I've had a bit of a shuffle around, but I still haven't worked out that fogger because it can't stay there. It's too close to plants. It's soaking them. They're dripping, so it can't stay there. But I've had enough for today, quite honestly, in this heat. I've still got the Vandas to do, but that's just a matter of throw them in the bucket and walk away. Find a cold drink somewhere. So that's basically all I've got. Yeah, so I'll leave it at that for today. Oh, the Brassia's opened. This is that little freebie Brassia. I had a feeling it was going to be yellows and greens just by the colour of the buds. But yeah, I mean, the actual expanse of the bloom is quite large. I didn't expect them to be that big, but obviously spidery nonsense. So yeah, so I mean, I don't think these are fully opened yet. Just those two more buds to come. But again, if you look at the length of that bud, these will be the dangly bits when it opens. That will be the equivalent of that once it opens up. Anyway, another couple of buds to go on that. I've still got a sort of theme. This is sort of the yellowy, creamy, whitey sort of stuff over here. Don't count the vanda, that's got to go back up in the roof. You know, and oranges and things. And while I've been watering out here, it's nearly overpowering that the whole place stinks of chocolate. So Sherry Baby is really doing its stuff. It's a really powerful fragrance. And quite honestly, this Prosthetia radiata is a very highly fragrant orchid, but Sherry Baby's overpowering it at the moment. But these have only just opened, and often orchids take a while before the fragrance comes up to full blast. Sherry Baby was open a couple of days and no fragrance at all. So, but it's certainly doing it now. Okay, and thanks for dropping by, and see you next time.